Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 6 of our F1 2021 Alpine mod career mode. Yes, today we're here back for the Austrian Grand Prix. Obviously, if you guys have missed out on the last race from Circuit Paul Ricard, I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. But heading though to the Austrian Grand Prix, already a third of the way through this season. We've really been smashing through it nice and early on there. Lewis Hamilton leads the World Championship by just 5 points ahead of Max Verstappen there. That title battle continuing to heat up as we head through the European stage of the campaign. Bottas still comfortably in no man's land at P3. Charles Leclerc king of the midfield so far in 4th there, and you can see a massive battle going on between both the Alpines, Sainz, Perez and Sebastian Vettel as well there. But yeah, let's dive in then, ready for the Austrian Grand Prix. Well, it would appear that Esteban Ocon is in the darkest corners of the Austrian Grand Prix circuit. I don't know why. We always seem to get wet conditions here for the Austrian Grand Prix. Now, is it going to be a full wet weekend? No, it's going to be a dry Grand Prix, so we might have to sacrifice a little bit of qualifying pace to try and make sure, obviously, we've got a good car ready for the race, but obviously we will wait and see about that. In terms of setup, going to run 3.7 on the wings, and we'll change it back down to 2. Ready for the race, and of course make pretty much the standard setup tweaks you always do on this game as well. Right, so heading out onto the circuit then, ready for the Austrian Grand Prix qualifying session. Hopefully we can get a nice tidy lap hooked up around this track despite the slippery conditions. It is going to be our first wet qualifying session of the year, if I'm not mistaken, so we'll wait and see as to how this Alpine handles. Obviously, a couple of interesting qualifying sessions. Obviously last year was wet in the real-life Austrian Grand Prix. Obviously, Hamilton took pole in that race by over a second ahead of Max Verstappen there. And when you consider how short a lap this place is, that was really impressive. But so far, though, we have done really well in the opening stages of this lap, up in P2. We've always said we want a podium this year. This would be the perfect setup for one. If we can try and get the car right towards the front of the field, I think our best qualifying position is still 8th, I want to say. So as long as we don't do anything stupid around here, hopefully we can try and get ourselves a new personal best qualifying session down the hill in towards the final sector of the lap though, starting to lose just a little bit to Lewis Hamilton, but still feeling good. As soon as I say that, big old wobble as we head in towards the final couple of corners. Perhaps it was too good to be true. Down in towards the final couple of turns of the lap. Oh, way too deep through there. We'll make sure we don't get a warning. Round in the final corner again, take as much curb as you dare. And we are going to equal our best session. No, we're not. We are going to go faster. P6 in the end there. Could have had a lot more, but we'll take it. So, there we are then, ready for the Austrian Grand Prix. And it looks like it is, of course, Hamver at the front of your field there. Charles Leclerc once again in P4 ahead of Vettel there. And you can see 1/10 of a second. What? 9,000ths of a second between myself, Sainz and Perez at the end of qualifying there. But Fernando Alonso rounds out your top 10 as well. And then, of course, you've got both McLarens, the Alpha Tauri's, and the 3 backmarker teams as well. Let's dive in then, ready for the Austrian Grand Prix. So here we are then, back in the Styrian Mountains for round 6 of the year from the Austrian Grand Prix. Always a good track that I've enjoyed, always a track we've had a lot of success on F1 2020 as well. I really do love the 10 corners that make up this circuit. Personally, I'm still a firm believer in the 9-corner version of the Austrian Grand Prix, but 3 DRS zones as well really does mean this track is an absolute banger to race around. Obviously in real life as well, it's given us some really good races in the recent history as well, which not too many tracks can boast in the real world of Formula 1 over the last few years as well. But obviously this weekend though, it looks to be the same narrative. Obviously Mercedes and Max Verstappen looking very good out front there. But hopefully today, you know, we want to be looking to try and beat Charles Leclerc in the World Championship. We need to start getting some P4s on the boards as well. Obviously we want a podium by the end of the year. That of course is one of the big aims as well. So if we could try and get a podium at some point, that would be really good as well. I think, you know, Alpine, we've got a car that's definitely deserving of it on raw pace as well. Obviously if we get everything hooked up and one of the front runners does have an issue. But of course it is Hamilton on pole once again there, ahead of Max Verstappen by 0.2 of a second for the Austrian Grand Prix. Bottas and Charles Leclerc make up your second row. Just behind them, Sebastian Vettel having the time of his life in the Aston Martin there alongside myself, with Sainz, Perez, Stroll and Alonso rounding out your top 10 there. Ricciardo and Gasly 11th and 12th, Lando Norris and Yuki Tsunoda. And then you got Mick Schumacher, Kimi Raikkonen, George Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi, Nikita Mazepin and Nicholas Latifi rounding out your grid, ready for the Grand Prix today. But yeah, 18 laps ahead of us though. Austria, like I said, always delivers. Let's get down to the track ready for round 6. Right, well here we are then, ready for the round 6 of the year from the Austrian Grand Prix. I almost called it the French Grand Prix there. Not really too sure why. But yeah, hopefully today, obviously, generally speaking, our qualifying pace has been worse than our race pace in the early stages of this championship. Now, obviously, a wet track is a bit of an equaliser with that sort of thing, but hopefully today we can try and fly our way up through the order there. The team is saying soft, mediums to softs there, so a bit of an interesting gamble from them, but we're going to trust them, we're going to have some faith in the team, and hope that this can pay off over the course of today. Then ready on the grid for round 6 of the year, starting from P6. It's 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Not the best start in the world, but not the worst either. As we head down towards Turn 1, we've got Carlos Sainz behind us trying to make big moves. We're going to have a look around the outside though. Charles Leclerc through Turn 1. Look at the run from Vettel as we head up the hill there. A fantastic start for Sebastian Vettel in this Grand Prix. They're straight up into P3 there. He's going to go side by side with Verstappen at the top of the hill. There is, Sainz really going for a big old dive bomb. A lot of contact between him and his former teammate Max Verstappen at the top of the hill there. But that all got a little bit messy at the start of this Grand Prix. We have lost the one spot there to a fast starting and very, very aggressive Carlos Sainz, who has also moved past Charles Leclerc. Quite a few movers at the start of this Grand Prix. But is this the weekend we finally see Sebastian Vettel fighting towards the front with Aston Martin there? We have Ricciardo as well, has had a blinder of a start there. He was P11 on the grid and he's already up into P8. Hoping to try and score Mclaren some more points this weekend, as generally they've just struggled to match the likes of Alpine in us. Obviously Alpine, Ferrari, and a couple of the other teams there. But down in towards the final couple of corners, no one else really by the looks of it on the mediums. So interestingly, the team have gone with the strat they've gone with. Verstappen might be on mediums, which would explain his bad start, but we've done okay. Really, really important at the start of this Grand Prix that we stay in the DRS of the guys in front of us there. If we can hang on behind Charles Leclerc, obviously in the second half of the Grand Prix we can come on strong and try to have a really good crack towards the end of this race. Sebastian Vettel though still holding Verstappen up, which could prove crucial for us in this Grand Prix. Still not sure if Verstappen started on the softs or the mediums here. It would explain why he went backwards at the start of the Grand Prix, because it's such a tight title battle between him and Lewis Hamilton early on. Something like a P4 at this early stage is not good. And one lap later, by the looks of it, it seems that Sebastian Vettel has been relegated back into P4 then, so we might see Verstappen fly off up the distance now as he tries to close back in on the Mercs, who have already got quite a comfortable margin at the front of your field here. But we are now starting to close in Charles Leclerc, so maybe just the pace of the medium starting to come to their own. It's very, very early though for that to be happening. I would like to believe the softs would hang on a lot better than this.
We've got a lot of spare energy. Use your overtake button.
Problem is, of course, everyone's still stuck in a DRS train at the moment, and Verstappen, if he just holds just ahead of Vettel, really does mean that Vettel can't get jumped by Sainz, and no one can really do anything. Might try and get a big run on Charles Leclerc at the hill. We're using a lot more overtake, but we're still just not making inroads on the Ferrari there. It's got very, very good top-end speed. Very, very different to its 2020 car, of course. But can we now try and get something done on Charles Leclerc as we head back down the hill? Might be able to have a look for something. Charles Leclerc aware of it though, he's going to go defensive. Can we hook it up round the outside? Come on, find the room. No, just not quite enough grip on the outside there, as we will have to battle him another lap. Right, come on, let's see if we can get another run on Charles Leclerc as we head back up the hill. I'd love to be ahead of him before the round stops there. As now Sainz trying to look past Vettel. We'll have a look up the inside of Charles Leclerc. Just snag the inside wheel, but we do get it slowed down nice and tidy. I'm sure there's a little bit of PTSD there for Charles Leclerc, obviously after the 2019 Austrian Grand Prix. To be fair, saying that, last year as well, of course, went to the back of his teammate at the start here. So, not Charles Leclerc's favourite corner in 2021. He's been mugged off by Esteban Ocon and Alpine. Team on us in at the end of this lap then. Are we going to see anything else between Vettel and Sainz as we head back up the hill? Let's find out. We're trying to save a bit of ERS as well still for the second half of the Grand Prix, but I mean, if we can get a bit of an undercut on these guys, that would be really, really handy as well. Up towards the top of the hill once more. Getting all over the back of Sebastian, but just not quite able to put the power down on the exit of the corner there. So, I mean, we haven't destroyed these mediums, but that's certainly not what they once were. Right, heading down in towards the final couple of corners of lap 8. We are, of course, going to dive in at the end of this one. Is Vettel looking like he's coming in? Thought he might have been considering it for a second there, but not quite this time around. Oh, a little bit cheeky on the way into the pit lane. I'm sure the FIA won't mind that too much. We'll just make sure we get it slowed down nice and tidy. I don't think anyone else behind us is peeling in, which is good. Should mean we don't get held up in the round of stops there. As Alonso, he's also on the medium, so he has not had a good start to this Grand Prix. We're sat outside the points there, but can we come out ahead of all the back market cars? We should be able to. We're a long way ahead of them. Oh no, I say that. Here comes Kimi Räikkönen. He's just going to come out ahead of us in this race, but we do get out ahead of all the others, which is far more important. We've got so much more pace than Kimi Räikkönen at the moment. As we head down through the S's, you can just see the extra grip we've got on the Alfa Romeo. Can we have a look for something in towards the final corner? We'll have a look at the inside of Kimi. Alonso's into the pits, and we will make the move work on the old Finnish driver. How many others are into the pits? I think it's just Alpine that have gone with this strategy today. So we are back up to P13. I would have thought now we'll start seeing all the soft runners come in. Really getting into our stride now as we head down the final couple of corners of lap 10. Hopefully we should be able to get an undercut on at least one of the Ferraris. Oh, that's a bit wide. Quite where I wanted to be there as we head back through the final corner. What position are we going to move up to? Is this going to be a new fastest lap as well? Yes, it is, a 1:05.9. We can really do with the fastest lap bonus point, and we've come out a long way clear of Carlos Sainz in this Grand Prix there, so that's exactly what we need. Could we potentially be close to Max Verstappen towards the end? We got most of the last guys into the pit lane then, so we will get the moment of truth as to how close to Verstappen we are for the second half of this race. Gasly in, Ricciardo in. Where is Max Verstappen going to be? There he is. And look at that, it is going to be close. We have got him as we head back out of the pit lane here. We're actually going to be upright with Lewis Hamilton in the murk. How have we managed that? With the undercut even, sorry, I should say. We might be able to have a look at Lewis Hamilton as we head up towards the top of the hill here. Surely that Mercedes is going to have more pace towards the end. But so far, this strat really does seem to be paying off there. I didn't think we'd be battling with Mercedes today. Was not prepared for this, but we're going to give it a go nonetheless there. Has Hamilton potentially got some issues with that Mercedes down around the outside as we head down the hill? Can we hook it up? Oh, just running on the curb on the exit. We're still going to have the inside though for the next corner as long as we can get the power down. Give him a big old squeeze and to the inside. We're over to P2 of the Austrian Grand Prix. Like I said, how on earth have we managed this? As Bottas clear up the road, good 3 seconds ahead. Could he make it 2 from 2? I don't want to get too optimistic in this Grand Prix, but the pace is still feeling really good on these soft tyres here. I think we've absolutely nailed the strategy in this Grand Prix. We've taken 7/10 out of Valtteri Bottas over the course of the last lap here. Is the win on the cards? Hamilton almost now out of DRS. This isn't over.
13.9 seconds.
Coming towards the end of lap 14, the gap down to Bottas, 2.2. I am pushing like crazy to the end of this Grand Prix because we do not know when another opportunity like this might open up. Oh, we got yellow flags out. Someone's going slowly. I think it's Hamilton. Hamilton, he's had issues over the last couple of laps here, and I think it is Hamilton falling to the wayside in the Austrian Grand Prix, so maybe that's why Bottas is going slowly as well. Perhaps Mercedes have got some issues on those cars there, and Lewis Hamilton, championship leader, out of the Austrian Grand Prix there. How might that change the championship battle? As for us, 3 to go, the gap to Bottas down to 1.4. If we can get within DRS, we can definitely give him a challenge. Just over 2 to go, and the gap now just under the 1 second mark to Valtteri Bottas just in front of us. So surely now we're going to be able to close up even more to him as we start to see the effects of the dirty air. However, a lot of understeer through the final corner, but 2 to go here. Surely Mercedes are a little bit tentative after watching championship leader Lewis Hamilton fall to the wayside. Verstappen is still dropping back from us as well. So a lot of other cars seemingly having issues here, but as we head up towards turn 3, you can see how much we close in on the Mercedes. These soft tyres still hanging on in well at the moment. This could be the race of the year for us. I'm trying to just save a little bit of overtake mode, see if we can try and get any sort of run on Valtteri Bottas on the final lap of this Grand Prix. We don't have much in the way of spare fuel, but surely he's just going to drain the battery in that Mercedes as well. They're round the final corner, ready to start the last lap of the Austrian Grand Prix, and it is all still to play for at the front of the field there. And look, as we head down towards turn 1, we're still making good inroads on him. Good line through the first corner. Make sure we don't get any wheel spin on the exit there. And now we'll use the overtake mode. Are we going to be potentially able to get a run on Valtteri Bottas. He's going to give us a big old squeeze as we head towards the top of the hill there, but surely we're cleanly in front, late on the brakes. We just about missed the apex, but we do get the move done, and once again, the Austrian Grand Prix has delivered a late race change for the lead here, and what has happened this weekend, it is all fallen into place for Alpine as we head down in towards the final few corners of this Grand Prix. I thought the strategy was going to be a bit weird from the team, but these soft tyres have hung on absolutely brilliantly in the second half of this race. It all seems to have fallen into place this weekend. Obviously, Alonso scored the team's first podium back at the Monaco Grand Prix, but on Renault's return, this will be their first race victory since what? Fuji 2008? I want to say, round in the final corners. It's not going to be known as Renault. Alpine win the Austrian Grand Prix.
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
Renault have pulled off a sublime performance to secure the top step of the podium today. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
Here come today's winning drivers, and what a race it was. This is a team that knows success very well in F1, and they're just itching for even more. Congratulations to the Renault team for their excellent win today. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Let's give it to Esteban Ocon. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Austrian Grand Prix, and it is ourselves, Esteban Ocon, taking home the most unlikely of race victories there. You can see as well, though, Fernando Alonso, he was down in 11th place when obviously we made our pit stops there, so he gained about 10 seconds over the guys he was racing with as well. Goes to show how good a strategy it was from the team there, but fast as that bonus point as well, the pace was real this weekend. They're 26 points on the board. We become the first non-Mercedes Red Bull driver to win a Grand Prix this year there, and it's still only Mercedes, Red Bull and Alpine that have scored podiums as well there. Sebastian Vettel just misses out in 4th place ahead of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. That is going to do us wonders in the Drivers' Championship as well there, with Alonso, Stroll, Perez and Ricciardo rounding out your top 10. Pierre Gasly just misses out on AlphaTauri's first points of the year, as while they see ahead of Tsunoda, Norris and of course the backmarker cars, with just Lewis Hamilton not making it through to the end of the Grand Prix there. Means championship-wise, we leapfrog all the way up into P4 of the standings there. Hamilton only 10 points behind Verstappen. Could be a whole lot worse at this stage of the year there, as Bottas makes some inroads on the pair of them there. Like we said, we get the jump on Charles Leclerc, 4th and 5th, 7 points separating us. Sebastian Vettel gets the jump on Perez as well, as Alonso gains a little bit of ground. 33 now points for our teammate. Ricciardo there still on 15 ahead of Stroll, and then Lando Norris the last of your point scorers there, with Raikkonen on countback now moving as to best of the backmarkers there. Constructors wise, 2 points now, the gap between ourselves and Ferrari there. That is going to be a big battle to watch out for over the course of the championship. Alfa Romeo also again on countback, get past Haas and Williams as well there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and yeah, we will be back very soon for round 7. I think we head back to Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.